and Happy New Year. Today, we are so excited. We have such an amazing special guest to bring to you. You're going to learn a little bit more about her brand, and her why behind it. So, before we dive in, my name is Tysheda. I am the founder of Luxury Travels by Dreamy Designer Events, where we curate elevated experience worldwide. And we also design retreats so that owners, founders can reset, rediscover, and come back a better version of themselves. On to you, Star.
Yes, Happy New Year. And hi, I'm Starry Dixon, founder of Mitsu's, where statement decor meets lifestyle design. So we feature elevated artisan-inspired pieces that make your home feel powerful, personal, and anything but ordinary. Today, we're excited to introduce Jamie Hunt, founder and CEO of Fast Penny Spirits, a woman-owned, B Corp certified Amaro distillery rooted in sustainability, impact, and exquisite craft. After leading innovation in the tech world, Jamie turned her focus to creating something more intentional. Fast Fat Penny Spirits blends her Italian heritage, love for community, and bold vision, donating 3% of bottle revenue through its Pretty Penny program to uplift women and local changemakers. So, Jamie, we're all ears, so the floor is yours.
Hi, thank you, and Happy New Year to everyone. So excited to be here, and just such a lovely thing to do to spotlight all these amazing founders and women. So like you said, I'm Jamie Hunt. I started Fast Penny Spirits in August of 2017. About 6 months before that, I was in a crossroads in my career. I had been doing digital tech consultant, like strategy, innovation, user experience design work for almost 20, over 20 years actually. And I kind of just needed a change in my career. And so I was at a bar with my husband, a local Seattle bar, kind of an institution called Rob Roy, and drinking after dinner Amaro. And I don't know, it just came to me like, why don't I make one of these? So I come from an Italian family. My family makes amazing food. So I've always had like amazing food, amazing community. We were always a house that people would come to. My mom would cook for them. No one could ever leave hungry. So it was just a really great environment to grow up in. And so I was sitting there as I was drinking it, thinking like I could do this. So I took about 6 months and I started researching the market to see, am I crazy or is this possible? What can we do? And I played around with a bunch of different recipes, mainly following some recipes in Brad Thomas Parsons' book called Amaro. It's a great book. If you don't know much about Amaro, I would highly recommend getting that one and studying it because Amaro is so amazing. Amaro started as a medicine in Italy. Many parts of the world also have something similar, but it was a way of preserving the health benefits of botanicals because they would go bad. This was hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And so it went from becoming this medicine to becoming something that people enjoyed drinking. They put sugar with it, so it was much more palatable for folks. And so Amaro's it's a part of Italian culture. Italians will start with their aperitivo, which we have a version of an aperitivo right here. This was a collaboration actually that we did with another local woman distillery where we took one of our single malt charred barrels that she had emptied and we put our Bianca in it for a little while. It's so good. It's all like smoky and delicious. But so you start off with an aperitivo hour. It's a way to like transition from work to family. And so it's a really nice part of the culture where you're having light little snacks. You're having a little cocktail, maybe a Negroni, maybe a spritz, maybe just neat. They drink this neat all the time or on the rocks. And then you get on and you start your day with your family or your evening with your family. And so I really always loved that tradition. I got introduced to it when I was traveling through Italy in my 20s. Now, while my family made liqueurs and they made wine, they never made an Amaro. So I didn't know about Amari. I knew about a lot of other botanical liqueurs, so it wasn't it wasn't a surprise to me, but when I got served the Amaro after dinner one night when I was in Italy, I just fell in love. And so I've been in love with Amaro ever since. And so when I was at that point at Rob Roy, this is all hitting me. And I'm thinking, like, what do I want to do next? I was like, bingo, this is something I'm passionate about. It's something that I can use to give back to the community, connect with the world, create connections. We have so many people that have become friends to the distillery and have done different celebrations, whether it's their 30th or 50th or their anniversary. We just had a post engagement party there the other week. People were in a working shipyard, and so there's a bike and walking trail. People will just come after they'll meet up with their friends, they'll bike for a while, and they'll come in and they'll have a little refresher and maybe a little snack. So that's always fun. So yeah, so I started it in August of 2017. I was just about to start a new job over at EY as a partner in their digital group. And I thought, oh, I'll do that for a while and I'll do this on the side. I'll launch it. It'll all be good. So I started working on the recipes in evenings and weekends when I was home, and it took me almost 3 years to create the recipes. So I took the way that I formulated the recipes is I took botanicals that were common in Amaro, but that I loved as well. And then I started adding botanicals that had more health benefits, some that had beautiful color or flavor or aroma. And I just started adding them each individually into a blend until I got to 46 botanicals. And so I think I had tinctured almost 200 botanicals at that time to get to that number. And then I had to test out the sugars. I had to test out the alcohol levels. So all of these were different trials. I got to do it with friends, family, and industry folks before really launching. And so it was really important for me that our product took the best of the ways that Italians use it and make it, and then blend it with how we do it in the US or how we want to do it in the US. I don't know that there are a ton of Amaro makers at the time. There's a lot more now that are American made. But when I was crafting the recipes, I went to Italy and did some Amaro distillery tours, which really just helped inform how the things that I would want to leverage to create our Italian style American made Amaro. So I learned about the ingredients, how they handle them. I learned about how they age and how they filter and such. And I kind of took that back, added some really fun Pacific Northwest ingredients like hops and hazelnuts, black truffle, which are foraged by dogs, including mine, which is really fun, and saffron. Who knew that saffron grew in Washington State? I didn't until I went to a farmer's market in Ballard, which is a local neighborhood in Seattle, and found this company, Cyrus Saffron, and asked them if they sold wholesale, and they did. And so they sent me some strains. I matched it to the Middle Eastern one I was using, and I've been with them ever since. So really fun to be able to integrate directly with farmers. And also a lot of our products come from houses that source organic or foraged botanicals. The base of our spirit is a grape base. So there's a facility in California that corrects wine. So if the wine becomes too hot, has too much alcohol in it, they can pull off the alcohol through a non-chemical way of doing it. It's cone technology. And then they can double distill that for us. If there's a smoke tainted batch, which unfortunately there's many of those that come through, instead of throwing out all of the wine, they can pull the alcohol off and distill it twice because the smoke doesn't follow the distillation process. So that's really cool. So we look for ways to use upcycled or just more sustainable ingredients in our products. And another really fun ingredient that we have is cascara. It's the fruit of the coffee bean. Typically, the cascara is a waste product for coffee farmers. They have to figure out what to do with it after the harvest. And you can't compost all of it because it's too acidic. So you can compost some, and then the rest you have to goes to landfill or whatever. They have to figure out what to do with it. And so by purchasing this, it's a beautiful product. By purchasing it and using it in our products, it puts more money into coffee farmers' pockets, which is also a huge deal for us. Let's see. I might have exhausted everything right now.
No, but that honestly, it's actually, as first off, it's very interesting to listen to exactly how it was. But what
Yeah.
for me, what really stands out is how much work that went into it
Mhm.
to make sure that you weren't just creating something just random and you put things together.
Yeah.
Like it took a lot of research, time. You
Yeah.
travel to places so you can taste the different things, that some things that may have been missing, some things that you can bring over here that would still make it where people can have it, but it's a better way of having it, and also
Yeah.
still that where it tastes good. Like that stuff is very where you put pride into
Yeah.
what you're making and what you're delivering also to your clients.
So one thing I did not touch on is when I left EY. So in March of 2020, when COVID hit and we all had to readjust our lives and figure out what was happening next and how do we survive in that time, I had a launch that was already planned prior to that for July 2020. And in March, as I was looking at the world and looking at things and figuring out what it was that where I could add the most value and where I could make the most impact, I decided to leave EY and focus on Fast Penny full time. And it's a great thing I did because we had to put up an e-commerce site in 2 weeks prior to the launch to make sure that we could sell our product. And what's interesting is some cool things can happen from some not cool experiences. And so one of the things that happened is I had to figure out where I could taste people on our product, where people could enjoy it, like in a cocktail or by itself. And so I'm in a shipyard, as I had said before, and I have a shipping ramp. And so I just basically took this shipping ramp and put tents on it because of our weather in Seattle. We tend to get a lot of precipitation. And I put tents on it and I started tasting people. People started picking up from there. And then we started a cocktail program. I got a permit finally and got it all enclosed. But that tasting room would have never been on that shipping ramp had it not been for COVID. And it's just such a cool experience. We brought in Murano glass chandeliers. It's like this beautiful kind of shipyard chic, very immersive experience. And that's all due to constraints that we had that we were working through. It still has a lot of open air. I never fully enclosed it. And it's funny because people are still like, I don't care if it's winter. We have heaters, but I don't care if it's winter and it's a little bit chilly. I will still go there. I just love the vibe and I love the feeling of it. And it's just there's not a lot of places that you can go to that kind of have that going on. So, and then another thing that is super important, remains hugely important to me, is all the connections I have and all the groups that I'm a part of. So I got connected to a women's cocktail collective early on. And I said, hey, can I join? Can I join you guys? I just started. You guys seem like a cool group of ladies. And they were all owners of different distilleries and makers of different spirits. And so they let me in and they became a real resource. I still keep in touch with a lot of them. And then I also got involved with this group called Female Beverage Collective, and that extended it beyond spirits. You have non-alcoholic drinks, you have wine, you have beer, you have like a whole host of things, like any beverage really, but all women owned and led. And so they're hugely helpful. I joined the Entreprenista Network and the Female Founders Club and just have met so many wonderful people. And now I'm on the board of La Dames d'Escoffier, which started off in the 30s to support women in culinary in the kitchen, and then expanded to support women in beverage and women that farm, women that fish, women that write books, cookbooks and such. And so it's such a great community, and that one's worldwide. And so I could never do this without those group of folks. And then in Seattle, I just got connected to a Pacific Northwest food and beverage group, which again, hugely helpful. We were making a non-alcoholic Amaro, and I have all kinds of questions on where do I get certain ingredients that I never had to think about before. And so that's really fun. And innovation is really, really important to us too. You know, we created our products. They have truffle and they have saffron in them. They have a whole host of other ingredients that make it really fun to cocktail with and to sip on its own. But then we were doing a project for Seattle Pride and with another woman-owned distillery, and we created some cocktails last year for Pride in the Park. Their official cocktails, and one of them was called the Lavender Daisy, which is coming back this year. We're doing them again this year. But the Lavender Daisy inspired me. We had, you know, gin and lemon, lavender, butterfly pea flower, our Bianca, and I think maybe some lavender bitters too. It was delicious. And so I thought, well, I wonder if I can make that simpler. And we have a club called the Veloce Society. It's a really great club. You get 2 bottles per quarter, your choice. Or you can get some of our canned cocktails, which we have espresso martini style canned cocktails, which are fun in place of the bottles, if that's what you prefer. And so I started tinkering and I made a limited release viola. The viola is this beautiful purple hue, gorgeous, gorgeous Amaro. And it sold so fast that I didn't even get it on the website. So I thought, and I took it to a couple of trade tastings with some distributors, and they were like, yes, I would like that. And so then I had to work on making it more at scale. And even though I knew what the recipe was, to scale it and have it be the beautiful liquid that I wanted that could add joy to any cocktail, add some interesting flavors. It took me 6 months to do that, even though I already had a product. That's how careful it is. Like when I release something, it has to be really good. I can't make mistakes and have something come out that isn't delicious. I might improve on it later, who knows? But you know, you learn, you get in the market and you learn. But this little baby is our latest. It's the Viola. It's purple and gold label.
So pretty.
It is floral, citrus, spicy. It's only done in stainless steel, so it's really bright. Our others are done in stainless steel and wood, which make it really smooth and delicious. So different styles of Amaro for different purpose. So
Definitely, I like that. And definitely, especially because, and I know we kind of like talked about it before, but for the process itself, like, is it all done like in state, like right by where you are? Is it something that it's like outsourced? Like, tell us a little bit more. Like, do you have a team that does it? Do you do it?
oh yeah, no, it's me. It's me. Sometimes I have team members helping me, and sometimes I get volunteers that help me bottle and things like that. We always say everyone stirs at the distillery. So when I have a batch macerating, it has to be stirred every day. I'm not there every day. So sometimes I'm traveling to sell more Amaro to different markets. And so my team comes in, they stir it. We're a really small team, like 5 people, and not all full time. And so it's a lot of work. It's a labor of love. But yeah, it's all the Amaro is made in-house. The canned cocktails, we have 2 of them right now. Those are done by a co-packer in Seattle. So I go over, I ship my Amaro to them. They do the coffee. I've selected the coffee. I've selected the extraction process. And then we go over and we put the ingredients together the night before. And then we let it kind of meld overnight. And then the next morning I come back and they can it. And so it's just a really great partnership in that way. They're also helping me with my non-alcoholic Amaro because there's only so much space and so much room and time that I have. And so I'm keeping it for the main core products, the core Amari, and then getting a chance to experiment with other types of products through leveraging co-packers.
Man.
That's amazing. That's it also shows too like how much work that really goes into it
Yes.
because of how hands-on you and your team is.
Yeah.
No, but like, and also just like the fact that you've been able to go from like novice in such a big industry to like being able to like output and just like continue on, like Kudos and congrats to that. One of the questions that I would have is what would you say to someone who has the idea and the passion, but is scared to take the leap?
I would say definitely do some research first. Ask a bunch of questions. So before I really got into it, I had coffees and drinks with a variety of different distillers, people in the business, just to learn a little bit more about it. And I got really lucky early on. I went to a makers event in Seattle, and that's where I met my lawyer. So having a
That's
lawyer
hilarious.
early on is important, and getting yours when you're thinking about things, getting the trademark done as soon as possible is really important. So even if you don't have a product made yet, but you know what you want to call it, trademark it. You can renew that trademark for a while. I think I was on my last time before I actually had a product where I could use it, but it all came together. And I would also say, it's always scary. There's never a great time. So just make the leap if you have, but make sure you have that passion, because you're going to have so many lows and you're going to have so many highs, but your passion's going to bring you through those lows. And then the other thing is, you can get overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed often. And when I do, I remember just to take one more step. If I just take one more step forward, then I'm going to get there. And, there was a while where I did not know if I would have an Amaro. I mean, it was 3 years. And so, I just kept focusing on, okay, like, don't get overwhelmed by all the things that still have to happen. Just think through, what do I need to do next? And then reach out to people. People are so helpful. Like, I have been so surprised. It's not something that in my previous career we could really do, because we were consultants, and so we had to go find all the information and be the expert, so to speak. We had to be as smart, or sometimes smarter, than the clients we were working with, at least smarter in some things that we could bring, not smarter than them, but in the way that we propose ideas and things. And so that is a wholly different thing than going to someone and saying, hey, where do you get your pectin? Or how do I have a cloudy product? Like, I just had another distiller ask about, how do I clarify my product? And so I talked them through how we do the filtering process, what we use. And so, I love to give back too. So if someone comes and asks me specific questions, I always answer them. I did get a question once where I was like, you need to do your homework first. And I got a question where they were like, how did you make your product and how did you scale it and get it to market? I'm like, that's a little broad.
Yeah.
Like, do a little more research, ask me some specific questions, and I will answer them for you. But
You're like, I did my research for that. So like now it's your
yes.
turn to
Well,
focus your brand.
it's so important to do it yourself first, just
Yeah.
to get to know what you don't know. And then as you ask questions, you're going to learn a lot of other things that you didn't know you needed to know. But you have to start from a base to build on.
Exactly, yes. And it's actually funny because it actually led to my next question, which was, take us back to the moment when you decided to leave the tech world. What was that shift like from the digital experiences you did to launching a spirits brand?
Oh, it is so different. It is. I worked with so many companies that were highly regulated, and I thought, wow, this is really hard. We need to learn like healthcare regulation and banking regulations and all of this. And then I got into alcohol, and my mind was blown. It's different all over the place. Like, what's legal, what's not legal. Just the physicality of making Amaro. Like, I'm lifting a 60-pound stainless steel housing for a filter up above, like, it's really awkward. And so you have to build up your strength to do that. I'm doing big dishes, which is essentially like my tanks. I have to clean all my tanks. That's like being a dishwasher, right? Like, it's all the janitorial stuff that comes with it. I didn't have any of that in my previous experience. I didn't have all that physicality, but you know what else I didn't have? I didn't have a product at the end of the day that I could look at and go, I made that.
Yeah.
And that is so magical. I get pictures, friends, customers will send me photos of our product in the wild or in their house where they're making a cocktail. And it brings such joy. It's just so fun to see. Amaro and is a way to build connection. It's just such a fun product. And, the spirits industry is a fun industry to be in. While it's frustrating and hard, really hard and super competitive, you meet such wonderful people. Like I wouldn't have met you both had I not been doing this. So
And I love that too. And you can definitely hear the passion
My
in your
God, yeah.
voice and everything into it. Like you can tell like you're like it's hard work, like it's there, but also you
Mhm.
have that really passionate product that you can be proud of, which is why your clients are really, loving it at the same time.
yeah.
Which is also like why my question is more geared towards like just understanding the role from intuition versus like data. Like, so how did you like basically like merge that, or like what did you start taking preference in when you started this early on?
I learned that I should always trust my gut. And so while I take
You have
in
a good one, so yeah.
right, while I take in different pieces of data and I look at what other people do, I realize that I don't know, but
Mhm.
you know when something feels right to you and you need to do that, or you don't need to do that. And what I realize is I might go down a different path than another friend of mine that has a spirits company because we're just different. The products are different. Our target audience may be similar, may
Mhm.
overlap, but just the way we're wired too is different. And so I've started like I did think for a while, you get caught in these traps where it's like, well, you should be doing this and you should be doing that and you should be and so and it just doesn't feel right. And now I'm like, no, I should be doing what feels right when I start thinking about it. Am I getting excited about it or am I not getting excited about it? What is my intuition telling me? And so that's really going through the journey. That's where I'm landing. And it it's it doesn't steer me wrong.
No, definitely. And honestly, like I said, gut feel actually it goes a long way. And sometimes because you can have so much different variations or people, things of that matter, you almost kind of have to go from what you believe and that's right to kind of, lead, let that lead the way.
So I still collect the data, I still ask the questions, I still do all of that, but I don't just do things because the data says so.
Right. I mean, like
Exactly.
clearly it's brought you like so far, just being able to like use your intuition, even when it came to like collaborations, connections, etc. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and it's really funny as I was creating the product. Yeah, I did get some opinions on different portions of it from different folks, but I mostly just use my
Judgment.
own
Yeah.
intuition, my own judgment, my own palate, and then I tested on as to whether that was something that other people enjoyed as well. But I feel like if I would have taken more feedback, because everyone wants to give you more feedback early on, then it would have been, how too many people, too many cooks in the
Yes.
kitchen, and
Yes.
the saying is like spoil the broth or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's true because then you're mixed and it feels like it in your product. Like it doesn't feel cohesive
Yeah.
when you aren't being cohesive about it. So
Exactly, yes. And it's funny you said that too, because my next question actually is tell us a little bit more about your Pretty Penny program. What
Yeah.
inspired you to commit 3% of bottle revenue to giving back, and what kind of impact has that had so far?
So I knew I was going to give back from the very beginning. That was really important to me, really to empower women. I was in a very male dominated world. I went back into one. Guess I'm not afraid of that. But, I did things like mentor. And of course, you give money to different nonprofits as you can personally. But I just really felt like I needed to give back. I needed to pull more women up and more people that just are disadvantaged that don't have as many opportunities in the world. And so that was put in place in the very beginning. It was in my initial business plan. I was coached to maybe not do that right away because I wasn't making money. So why am I giving away money? And I followed again my gut and I was like, if I don't do it now, it's going to be harder to do it later. And this is big piece of why I'm doing this. I want to give back. And so we've been able to support different organizations, whether it is Another Round, Another Rally, which is a hospitality organization that helps out folks like if they get a medical diagnosis or if they have something happen in their bar where like there's a plumbing thing that goes out, right? And they need more money. Just they do so much education and so forth. And then there's SMASH, which is a Seattle Musicians Access to Sustainable Healthcare. And so we've partnered with them in a variety of opportunities and help provide some funds so that they can get, hearing aids for folks or what are those called? Earplugs, like really nice ones for musicians, because there's a lot of hearing loss that happens in that industry. Or they can go to the dentist and get their teeth taken care of or what have you. And then we've given to Black Girl Ventures, we've given to Ladies Who Launch, so the whole entrepreneurial side of it. We gave to Spice Bridge, which is a local kind of incubator and space for a little more ethnic foods and education and space. So there's a big refugee population in a certain area south of Seattle. And so they really help them get on their feet and learn a business and run a business. And just being part of all of these things. Seattle Pride as another one that is really important to us. The Step Up Foundation, which helps people that wouldn't normally be able to get into distilling or making wine or making beer, pulls them up, educates them, puts them in different distilleries or wineries or breweries, depending on what their path is, and gives them that hands-on help. And so I think it's your job to give back if you can. So
No, definitely. And I want to say also too, especially because it not only it speaks to not only just the brand but also the person too, because giving back to all those different causes helps other people the same way that you're also willing to help people if they have questions and things of that manner, because again, as you can clearly see, a lot of people also helped you do your journey as well. So it's kind of one of the, if those were closed off people, you would have never gained the knowledge that you have now. And it's so important for people to even just understand that it's very good to be able to help others, because the same way you needed someone to help you, you always want someone to give that extra knowledge to help someone else in whatever they're trying to do as well. So definitely, I
absolutely.
definitely do appreciate that from you and from everything that you're doing.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, and I just think too, just like one of the takeaways just from your personality overall is basically not to be afraid to like ask for help where needed, and also to actually do the work behind like whatever your idea, brand, or like whatever it is may be. My question for you though is that like I definitely get like a full sense of like what it could all be, but like if you were to summarize how you want your community to receive you, how would you describe like the Fast Penny Sparrows community, like as a whole?
Wow, we have such an amazing community. People are really kind and respectful. I don't know if it's just because we're such a niche product, the Amaro, so you really have to be intentional to seek out Amaro, I feel, and to appreciate it. And a lot of our folks really enjoy like traveling and food and drink and that those connections that are all part of that process. And so I think we have that. People come and they're always happy when they come to the distillery, and they're like, if someone has a question they overhear, they'll answer it. Like, it's just a really, really beautiful community. We have markets at different times of the year, and our market vendors, we don't charge for people to be a market vendor, but we all get to, leverage each other's customers and build our businesses together. And the market vendors are always like, gosh, your people that come here and really love you guys are so wonderful. They're so nice. And they really are. Like, we're really blessed, I think, in that way.
Like we
Yes.
said, it radiates. Come on.
Yes, literally.
Like it makes sense. We're like, yeah.
Exactly. The
I
vibes
mean,
that
you
come
can't
from
be
it is,
sad having a cocktail or an Amaro, right? Or
That
a
is so
glass
true.
of
like,
mint,
literally you can't. If you're sad, you're doing it wrong. So
Yeah, exactly.
Especially with the history of Amaro being used as medicine too. Like it's like, look, like we're making everybody happy. We're healing
Yeah,
things from people.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So my question is when you look at Fast Penny Spirits today, what are you most proud about beyond the product?
I think it's all the connections we've made. It's the community that we're building. It's a community that we've built and are continuing to build. That really is the biggest thing for me. And then the amount of money we're able to give back. In addition to the pretty penny 3%, we do a lot of in-kind donation. And so we give stuff for auctions and we do VIP distillery tours. We give bottles or cocktail kits, whatever it makes the most sense. We also volunteer our time to different organizations to help them. So those are the things that I'm really proud of when I can see someone later and they're like, oh, I saw you at the Pike Place Foundation event, or I saw you at the Seattle Art Museum event or whatever. And it's just really fun. Like I'll run into different people around the city and it's always surprising who ends up knowing you or who you end up knowing because of the connections that happen through the pretty penny stuff as well as the tasting deck. So
yeah. And I also just like feel like that goes back to like that whole boots on the ground mentality where it's like, I'm here. Like I'm actually not just like a figment of your imagination, like behind the brand, like I actually put in the work for it. And because of the category and industry that you're in, my question, and we're going to segue off very shortly, but is where can people find your products and how can they order it?
So we do have an online site. We can't ship to every state, but we have quite a few states we can. So they can just go to fastpennyspirits.com, hit the shop tab, and buy our products there. We are in 8 states right now. We're in Washington, Oregon, California, Minnesota, Tennessee, Louisiana, Pennsylvania, and New York. So you can get it from maybe a local retail shop. You can drink it in a bar. If you don't see it, just ask for it because that is the first way or the best way for us to get into those places. That really provides a lot of support for a small brand like ours, so that's what I encourage people to do is if you don't see us, ask your favorite place. And if they get enough asks, they will bring it in. And so then you'll have it local. You won't have to wait for it to be shipped to you. Or in some states, we can't ship it at all. So then you'll actually get it at your house. So,
I mean, well, we've definitely spoken about vision, purpose, and impact. But for now, I just have a little question for you. What's something that you would say is like fun or unexpected that people wouldn't guess about you?
Well, the Fast Penny brand comes from a stint I did in burlesque.
Ooh.
So I had a friend that we were just drinking some wine at a local wine bar. All good things happen in these bars, I guess. And she had signed up for this burlesque class, and we both thought it was more exercise. And we got there and we realized it was really to create professional burlesque dancers. And we were quite scared.
You're like, hold on.
Oh my gosh, what do we do now? And we both kind of looked at each other and said, let's do it. And so we did, and we loved it so much. We did a secondary class, and it was in our secondary class that we did a duet together. And my stage name was Veloce Von Perla, and hers was Centime Bijou. And Veloce means fast in Italian, and Centime means penny in French. And when we performed as Fast Penny. And it was so empowering, so amazing. I never would have thought I would have loved it, but I did. And all the people I met and the performers and like the fans, like they were just so much fun that when it came time to naming the distillery, I wanted it to be about empowerment. And so I called her up and said, do you mind if I use our name of Fast Penny? And she's like, no, of course. And I'm like, do you mind if I use Santime's image on the inside of the bottle of the Bianca? And she said, yes, do it. So Santime is in the inside of the Bianca bottles and Veloce is on the inside of the Rosa bottles and the Viola.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Love
amazing.
that. And also, like, kudos to you and your girlie, like, for being like, you know what, like, we're here, we might as well just have fun.
We might as well.
Yeah.
I fully believe in doing scary things. Like, if you're not doing scary things, if you're not pushing yourself, you're not growing, you're not living.
Oh, yes.
And sometimes it's a burlesque class, and sometimes you're jumping out of a plane.
But like, no, like you're literally a testament to that because like as we're hearing your story, just from again, just the ability for you to release yourself of a lot of fears, which I'm sure like you might like have it in your mind, but you're just like, let's do it. Like from the burlesque story to the networking to the collaborations to even, like start with the lavender drinks, like just doing things that, are maybe have scared you initially.
Yeah, yeah. It's all kind of scary initially, I think.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it
Anything new that
fun.
you're pushing yourself is going to be scary.
Oh
So,
yeah.
Yeah. But it feels so good when you do it and you're like, yeah, I did that. I pushed
Yes.
through.
yes. Oh, that's like the
Right.
best feeling ever.
Yeah.
Well, definitely want to say thank you. And thank you for everything that you shared today, from your mission to your story. It's very inspiring. But as we wrap up, we always love to give our featured guests this moment for your ask of our audience, whether that's following Fast Penny Spirits, spreading the word, connecting with you, visiting your website. Let us know how our community can support you.
Yeah. So I've already said ask in those states. If you're in those states, ask for our product if you can. Follow us on social. We had to change to a creator account on Instagram, so it's at Jamie Fast Penny Spirits. So follow that. That helps us a lot. And if you're in Seattle, come and check out the distillery. It's so fun. If you're gonna make a trip where you live in Seattle, like it, you will not regret coming over to our place. It's a really great time. It's a really unique environment. And yeah, I think just keep connecting, enjoying your drinks with your friends and family, and yeah, having a nice dinner and, and chit-chatting and maybe ending the dinner with a little Amaro at the end. It doesn't necessarily have to be ours, but a little Amaro at the end is beautiful.
Well, with that said, from the boardroom to the barrel room, okay, Jamie's journey is proof that reinvention isn't just possible, it can artfully be intentional. So she shows us how that when you blend purpose with craft and values with vision, you create something far more lasting than a brand. You create a legacy. So if today's spotlight moves you, don't forget to hit the like button, leave a comment, and hit the subscribe button for more conversations with founders who are building boldly and leading with heart. So you'll find all of the ways to connect with Jamie and Fast Penny Spirits in the description below. So explore, support, be an advocate, as she was saying before. And until next time, keep building, keep growing, and stay inspired.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.